Hey folks, and welcome to Greg's Golf Shack. Toe hits are a common problem for a lot of us. When we hit the ball out here on the toe, it causes weak shots, it causes misdirection, it kind of haunts our game. And it's something I've been working on as well. And it also is very related to that outside in over the top swing path because we cut across the ball, causing us to hit it off the toe. So let's look at a few tips that might work for you to help you hit it more in the center of the face and maybe eliminate that over the top if you're suffering from it. Folks, as an instructor with the Canadian Golf Teachers Federation, I love making these videos for you to help you improve your game. I'd appreciate it if you show your support by subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's free. And like the video if you like the content, and maybe drop me a comment. Now there's a lot of reasons we might be hitting it off the toe, and that might include just standing too far away from the ball. You might want to try and stand a little closer. But I want to get to what I think is most common with a lot of players, and it's the fact that we're really bracing for impact. Now, I see a lot of kind of dated YouTube tips where people are saying, hitting the golf ball is a lot like doing demolition, having a sledgehammer and hitting into a wall like you're going to try and break through it. And I don't really buy into that. As someone who has many previous years in a career of construction, we don't want to do that, because what happens if we're swinging a sledgehammer into a wall and we expect to finish like this, we're going to break every bone in our arms and shoulders and everything. We really have to brace for that impact. We almost stop turning and stop the arms moving, bracing for that hammer to hit the wall. So I don't buy into that one bit. And by instinct, I think a lot of us do just try to brace for the impact of the ball, whether we have construction experience or not. That causes us to tense up at the moment of impact, to either stop our arms from moving or stop our body from rotating. And this not only can cause a toe hit, but it also causes us to lose distance and kind of initiates that over the top move. Why? Because when we're getting a good golf swing, when we have a nice back turn and we're coming down through the downswing, and let's say we stop our body from rotating, our arms come out and across the ball. We pull the arms towards the body and it becomes this very weak kind of hit. On the other hand, if our arms stop and we turn our body, you can see the same thing sort of happens. We end up cutting across the ball. And what we'd like to do is be nice and loose through that impact area so our body and our arms are moving nicely. It's hard because we don't even want to think about impact. We don't want to instinctively brace for that to happen, where we stand up on the ball, we throw the club at the ball as if everything's going to stop at the moment of impact. And by remaining nice and loose through impact, it allows that natural extension to happen, and we can hit the ball more in the middle of the club face rather than tensing. You can see what happens. If I tense, I tend to stand up. I'm flexing my arms, my shoulders are shrugging. This is what's happening at impact for a lot of us players. So where we find that we want to be nice and loose throughout the entire golf swing, if you struggle with those toe hits and the over-the-top move, I suggest the part that's the most important for you to be loose during your swing is through impact. Let it go, let that tension fade, and just let that club rotate nicely through that ball. Center of the face feels good. You're going to get more distance with that. Now, another important part of that nice loose feeling through the impact zone is our release. If we're tensing up, our wrists get tense, and it's very difficult to rotate those forearms over naturally. We want that to be a natural feeling. If we're loose, we avoid that tension through impact, our arms are going to want to turn nicely, and we're going to be able to release that club a little bit more evenly. A lot of us leave that face open if we are struggling with that tension, and that's why we get that big fade or slice. So that's the first and most important part of trying to cure those toe hits and even the over the top. Be loose, allow yourself to hit that ball in the center of the face through contact. But if you're still struggling, you're looking for a different feeling, something that works for you. Another thing we can kind of put in our head is relating it to baseball, swinging a baseball bat. And if we have an over-the-top swing that causes a toe hit, if we think of baseball, that's more related to the bunt. Literally, we have a player, there might be in a good setup position, but when they're going to bunt the ball, they kind of throw the body over towards the target and kind of stop this club, and we just bunt the ball and it doesn't go very far. Very similar with an over-the-top swing. But when we see a player that's going to hit a home run, we really see that they release really big, wide through that impact zone. Sometimes they even let go of one hand to really let that club fly without any tension and a lot of momentum and power. So just that feeling, if you approach it thinking, my over-the-top swing is a bunt, if you kind of get that feeling and that's in your head that, oh, I'm just bunting the ball and I'd rather get behind this ball and sling towards it because I want to hit a home run, that might be a feeling in your mind that just clicks to help you get through the ball a little bit better. Now, if those feelings aren't working for you, there's one more thing we can try to help improve our toe hits, hit it in the center of the face more often, and even cure that over the top a little bit. What happens to some of us in the golf swing is we get really wide in our backswing. We're thinking we want to get wide and big, and we even hear those tips sometime. But what happens, very related to tensing up in the swing and everything, is we get wide in the backswing, and as we start the downswing, we get narrow. We hear tips like tuck that elbow and everything. But if we get really wide and then we pull the club in narrow, we're missing the ball or just hitting it off the toe. And a feeling that might work for you in this case, keep the arms closer to the body in the backswing, up to the top. And as you start the downswing, start to move the arms out away from the body a little bit. Rather than pulling them in, we're moving them away. So narrow at the top, arms close, and sort of push the arms away from the body. That might help us avoid standing up. If we're trying to create some separation between our arms and our body, might help us keep our lower body back a little bit so we can hit the center of the face. Now, the tip might not work for everybody, especially if you have a problem hitting it off the hosel of the club. You don't want to really be reaching out towards the ball, but it might just be that little ingredient that helps you hit center of the face more often. So a little bit narrower in the backswing at the top. As you're swinging down, create a little bit more space between your arms and the body. Another one, center of the face. So between those three kinds of feelings, hopefully you can hit the center of the face more often, feel a little bit more comfortable and loose in the swing, and you're gonna gain a lot of distance as a result. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Greg's Golf Shack.